The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is February 2nd. It is Fat Nash. I'm joined by Fat Hall.
Hey, yo.
Is there a delay on your end?
Injured Savage.
Yeah.
Hit one
Thinking right there, just trying to get the arm right, but my arm's fucked up right now. Seriously.
We'll be joined by Skinny Jeans Hogan momentarily. I think he's going to try to call in while he's still at work.
Yeah.
Before he ends up popping up sitting next to me for the rest of the show. So we got a fun one today. Obviously, we will discuss what occurred this past weekend in the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about what's the next step for the roads to WrestleMania. We'll also discuss Ernest's topic, a AEW theme, since we haven't talked about them in the last couple weeks. Joe's got a fun one. I don't actually remember what his was, but I know it was mine and his was
Main event night 1.
Oh, yes, the main event of night 1, since we figured out pretty much what the main event of night 2 is probably going to be. And then we'll obviously, because, we are a professional wrestling show, we'll talk about an event that's taking place this coming up weekend, NXT Vengeance Day. We also have Wrestlers of the Month. That got calculated because everybody actually got me their picks by Tuesday. I'm surprised that you guys actually all got me your picks by Tuesday.
I got you on Friday. I think me and Jim got you on Friday.
It took me turning the wrist of the gentleman that told me that because, if we went down to less people, he would literally be able to get me his picks sooner.
Speaking
I only had to text him 735 times. He can attest to it.
Right, Joe?
Yeah, but you got it.
I gave you your props at the beginning.
True. You're not wrong. He ain't lying.
But I also said that it also took me turning your wrist like I was in a fucking hammerlock. So.
I mean, yeah, but you always turn my wrist like that, but at least this time you actually got it. It wasn't futile.
I can't wait till July whenever I'm still doing this. All right, let's get to first topic since there it is. So let's talk about Vengeance Day. We'll get to the Royal Rumble in a little bit.
I picked Roxana Perez for everything.
All right, Intermark, I'm gonna need you to chill out.
No, I'm serious. I think she's the female. Okay, when I look at Roxanne Perez, I see what everyone says they saw in AJ Lee like a decade ago, but I never actually got.
Which was what? Please enlighten.
Just like the talent level. Like everyone was always like, oh my God, AJ Lee is so amazing. She's this, she's that. And I've always was like, yeah, I guess. But then I look at Roxana Perez and I'm like, no, that's what they meant. But she has it, not the other one. She has it.
Roxana Perez.
Roxanne.
All right, Intermark.
Close enough, right?
We have to keep this.
It is close enough.
All right, let's talk about it. First match, we'll talk about 2 out of 3 falls match because we don't have enough of those in professional wrestling. It is Apollo Crews taking on Carmelo Hayes. Sorry, Grayson Waller popped up on my screen for a second there. Oh yeah, starting small forward for your New York Knicks, Carmelo Anthony, with his best friend Trick Williams. Honestly, I like Apollo Crews. Why the fuck is Carmelo Hayes still on the fucking NXT roster?
Thank you.
And who the fuck is Trick Williams?
He's only still there now because they're going to debut him after WrestleMania.
Are you thinking waiting? Yeah, that's my guess. Like wait till Mania, and then they'll do the whole fucking reset. What to call it?
Yeah,
you're gonna have Worlds
That's the only
Collide.
reason why he's still there.
Well, Worlds Collide will be the Saturday show,
1:00 Eastern time.
Oh my God, 1:00 Eastern? That means I'd have to be up at like
10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 8.
Like-
Yeah.
8 o'clock to
Why are
get
you
there.
counting down?
Well, it's in California.
Royal Rumble. More on that
Rumble.
later.
Rumber.
Yeah, that'd be 10 a.m.
Yeah, I would have to be up at whatever time to actually get to the show.
But I mean,
with LA
Mania.
traffic.
Oh, well, that's true.
I was gonna say with LA traffic, I'm gonna have to be up at 7:30 to get to that show. If we
Yeah,
go.
that 405 ain't no. I mean,
With
hopefully
LA
we'll need to go to
traffic, we're
405.
gonna have to leave the night before.
That's
Yeah,
for sure.
fucking 405. No matter what day it is, man. 405 is fucking. It's a disaster.
Oh, I've been out there. Trust me,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
LA is the only place where they literally had something called, what was it? It was like traffic get-in or some shit like that when like Obama was in town.
I legitimately, so the last like 4 days, I've been looking up hotels and flights for the trip, obviously, and literally, I'm like, it's 27 miles from this hotel to SoFi, and then 40 miles from that hotel to downtown Disney to go pick up stuff for the kids or whatever. And I'm looking at the times, 1 hour and 14 minutes. I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's
Huh?
dumb. It's dumb.
huh?
It's real dumb. Are we gonna make picks on this match?
Yeah, go.
I think Roxanne Perez.
Thanks,
Of
Joe.
course you did.
Thanks, intern Mark.
Like, well, no, there's no title involved. I guess Apollo's gonna win. I don't.
It goes 3 falls. Trick
Two
Williams
other-
ends up costing Carmelo,
Yeah.
leading to his final feud in NXT being against Trick Williams.
Yep.
I
I love it.
I'm just.
I mean, that
something
makes
here.
sense. I'll go Mel just for the fucking be different, but what you said makes sense.
Just at this point, I got to do something different.
Right.
All right, so now we'll start the title galore here because that's what we need in NXT is more titles. Let's start North American Championship. It is the champion, formerly of the Rascals, formerly of MSK. It is Wesley taking on the artist formerly known as T-Bar,
Yeah.
Dijak.
They're still calling T-Bar, right?
No, he's
No,
Dijak.
he's
Yeah,
digest.
they're good. Good.
No.
That's why I said the artist formerly.
Zero
known.
chance they were still calling him that.
God.
I'm gonna go Dijak. I love Wesley, but I feel like this has
They
been
haven't done anything with him
this
since
has
he
been
won the
the
belt.
quietest North American title run in the history of NXT.
Like when Mello won the North American title, like they made it actually matter. Like Wesley has just kind of been like, hey, he won it,
Yeah.
and now he's there. I think there's bigger and better things on the docket for Dijak in the near future. So why not see what you can get out of him with a title around his waist by giving him this one? I agree with Jim. I think Dijak walks out with the title. I don't know how long his title run will be, but I do think he walks out of this one with the North American title.
Yeah. Feast your eyes,
Ugh.
obviously. But any chance he comes back to the main roster again?
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think eventually we're in the rebuilding stage.
I mean, you got to remember there's another person or persons that we're going to talk about in a few minutes that are part of this NXT roster that are probably only here to sell tickets to this show because this show is a standalone show in Charlotte.
Oh, right.
More on that later. Joe, do you have a pick?
Roxanne Perez.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, we are actually doing this.
All right, intern Mark.
You didn't believe him, did you?
Oh, I knew.
I mean, I kind of believe him, but
I'm just gonna make him say it for everyone.
Jim, you've been on the show a year now. Joe's committed. When Joe's committed, he's committed.
is
All right.
committed, needs committed, whatever.
It's the same thing. All right, for the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, it is the champions Katana Chance, Caden Carter, taking on the put together because one of them likes one of them and one of them likes the other one of the male team here. Fallon Henley and Kiana James with Briggs and Jensen in their corner.
I couldn't tell you who any of these people are.
You couldn't tell me who
Yeah,
Casey
that's how you know. Yeah, that's how
You
you know.
couldn't
You
tell me who
know
Casey Keith
I know who the champs are. Champs retain. They'll
You-
lose it. They'll lose
you
it.
You couldn't tell us who the hell Fallon, Kiana James, or Briggs
I
and
have
Jensen are.
no idea who that is.
Well, Carter retains.
All right. That's 3 votes for Mortal Kombat. Joe?
I'm going to take the team of Roxana and Perez.
Okay. All right. Love it. Love it. Great pick. Great pick. All right. For the NXT Tag Team Championships, it is a fatal 4-way match. It is the champions, The New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods taking on Gallus of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. The team of Pretty Deadly of Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. And after winning a match on Tuesday night's episode of NXT television, it is Chase University of Andre Trace and Duke Hudson.
Who? Bunch of who's.
None of these.
Ernest, we know you don't know who any of them are. You don't.
No, other than the New Day. No.
Chase University, because they're the one with that like goofy ass looking college logo. So give me that one.
Yeah, what Jim said.
I do think we get new champions here, but I'm going to go with the team that hasn't held the titles aside from Chase U. Give me Gallus. Are you taking
I would
Roxanne
like
and
to
Perez?
take. No, I'm taking her favorite tag team, The New Day.
Wow, you literally almost made it through the entire fucking gimmick, and then you had to fucking not
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's her
Wait a
favorite tag team.
stop being a quitter, Joe. All right, Joe's favorite match of the night, a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. We'll see the champion, Roxanne Perez. Roxanne taking on Toxic Attraction Zone, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane. How do you have a tag team fight for the women's title and it not end with malfunction at the junction?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think this is obviously Roxanne winning.
Jimmy don't know.
I don't know.
But this is one.
I-
Even if they did it on the main roster, I think this would be a head scratcher. Like, how do you have a tag team that was the tag team champions for
It would
so
be-
long?
You know, it'd be like the Street Profits and Theory of Relativity in a triple threat for the U.S.
Oh,
title.
100%. It would be Dakota and Io versus Bianca Belair.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you have to figure that it's going to end up with some kind of I want the fall. No, I want the fall. No, I want the fall.
Oh,
Pop
for
rocks.
sure.
So,
Here's my question more.
Okay.
The bigger question to me, do you think that Toxic Attraction ends up on the main roster like right after this? Because I could actually see them being one of the rare groups that debuts before Mania and possibly ends up with a tag title shot at Mania, because it's not like you have anything else for the women's tag titles right now.
So I'll answer that question, but then I have another one before we move on to the main event. I think they could absolutely show up before to then win the titles and get the moment at WrestleMania, because I don't see there being another member that they're adding to this group right now. I thought there was a shot. Oh, okay.
I'll do you one better. Next week on Raw, there's a match with Carmella for the spot in the Elimination Chamber.
They come out and help her.
I think Carmella would be great with the Toxic Attraction girls. Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually,
I honestly,
that
would
immediately
definitely
gives
be an
legitimacy to
interesting-
them once they get into the main roster.
I completely forgot about Carmella returning.
Yeah.
So
it would be
yeah,
interesting for her too. It'd be something different. She's never led a stable before.
yeah, and
Well-
she's great at literally everything she does.
And there's nobody else that you could put them with.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, that one makes perfect sense.
well, that you love her, Jim.
And I mean, the truth
That's
is,
not the love.
do we feel like they're not strong enough to be there by themselves?
I think they could be fine on their own. I just think that if you're going, like, I don't have a problem with them being just the two of them and being a tag team. I think they'll be just fine. But Carmella almost needing the backup makes her character more. I think this is
I agree.
I think this is
And-
more beefing up a certain person rather than looking at Gigi and JC and saying that, you know, they're not ready or they're not good enough, because I feel like there was multiple times that they could have been called up, but they stayed because Mandy was the champion.
And here's
Right.
the deal. Let's pretend, 4, 5, 6 months from now, the fans only or fan time or whatever, that money starts drying up a little bit.
Well, it has to be drying up now because she's giving away 1 month free to anyone who subscribes in the next 7 days. So,
Oh yeah, so it's already happening. So let's just pretend, I don't know, SummerSlam time.
Summerfest.
At the Summerfest, you re-sign Mandy Rose.
You kind of do the same thing you did with Bailey, Io, and
Well, you have
Mandy come
Rose
out.
confront Carmella and go, "Hey, you don't go here."
We don't even go here.
And then Mandy Rose takes over the spot that is.
You don't even go here.
Mandy Rose takes back her spot in Toxic Attraction. It's simple.
I'm for it. All right, my question before we move on to the main event: which member of Toxic Attraction takes the fall?
JC.
I feel like Gigi takes Pop Rocks better than JC does. And I feel like that's going to be the finish. So I think because of how good of a wrestler Gigi is, I think Gigi ends up taking the fall.
Okay, that's fair.
1-800-COLLECT, you got anything, or are we moving on?
Or does Roxanne pin Roxanne?
His silence makes me feel that Roxanne pins Roxanne to win a fatal 4-way.
So I'm thinking his head just exploded.
All right, main event of the evening for the NXT Championship inside of a... Jesus Christ.
That was his head exploding.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? I went to the screen. I didn't see you pressing a button. I was literally about to... Yeah. Steel cage match for the NXT Championship. It is the challenger, Grayson Waller, taking on the guy who's got that dog in him. Or whatever the fuck his shirt says. Braun, everybody's favorite.
The worst goddamn shirt that I've
so
ever
bad.
seen, by the way.
It's so bad. Honestly, at this point, if they have that at NXT, or excuse me, at Mania, I might buy that shirt if I can get it in a big enough size and just have you give it to Ryan for me.
Oh
Just-
yeah,
just
I'm
buy as many bad shirts as possible to
I'm
give to him.
all in on that, by the way.
Gotta have that dog in him. Steel cage match, NXT Championship. This has been the first real feud that Braun's had that I've actually liked what they've done with it. I know when we talked a couple months ago, we thought the right guy to take the title off of Braun eventually would be Carmelo Hayes, but I don't think Carmelo's there long term enough to take it off of him. Is Grayson Waller that guy? Is this the striking while the iron's hot and moving the title to Grayson, and maybe Braun loses the rematch at Stand and Deliver and he shows up Monday night after Mania? I mean,
perhaps. But I mean, seriously, look how god awful that shirt is. It is so bad.
yeah, we got to get that from.
Very, very 80s.
I mean, it fits like the old Steiner Braun Breaker situation, but holy smokes, brutal.
We got to get that shirt for Smokey. We got to get that one for Ryan.
Look, the Grayson Waller thing is cute and adorable, and I mean, the dude I actually think does have potential, but I think Breaker's gonna lose it at
Stand and
Deliver.
It's been over well over a year since been champion, right?
Yeah.
So my question here is, if it's not Grayson Waller here, and we all kind of think that Melo's...
No, it's almost a year. He won it on April. He wanted it.
he wanted it Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, that was April 4th last year.
So my question here, as Joe's making as much noise as humanly possible,
Sorry.
if it's not Grayson Waller now, whom is it? Because we all are kind of in agreement that Carmelo Hayes is not long enough for the NXT world to take it off of him. Is this Tyler Bate getting revenge for losing the unification match? Is this Ilya Dragunov finally getting the title? There's just questions here that I have, because Waller's the guy that they've built up the most aside from Carmelo Hayes to get to this point.
Have they done anything with, like, is Apollo? Could Apollo be like a transition guy?
Apollo's already fought him for the title like 4 times. And
fuck
lost.
me, didn't know that.
And lost like all 4 of them.
Well, then I guess it's not
Obviously.
going to be him, is it? Jinder Mahal. Make Jinder Mahal a transitional champion.
Let's go.
Because I mean, here's the deal:
I don't hate it.
Breaker loses to a former WWE champion. That doesn't hurt him.
No, not at all. Like I said, I don't hate it. I just
You know, and then have somebody, you know, do a short program there, and at with Great American Bash or something this summer on a Tuesday night episode, have somebody beat Jinder.
don't hinder Jinder while he's swiping on Tinder. I'm trying to figure out exactly how many times Apollo Crews actually faced.
In any case, I'm picking Braun to win this match.
Yeah.
Let's see. Apollo
Right back.
deadline he lost, which was back in December. That's the only match that he's had for the title.
Okay.
He did beat Grayson Waller in a casket match at Halloween Havoc. Deadline he lost, and then he's now kind of transitioned into Carmelo. I guess the way that I look at this here, Jinder makes a ton of sense. I think potentially as someone that could unseat little Steiner. I just don't necessarily know what the move is, I guess, from there, because it's they're not really building a ton of guys to be world title guys right now. It feels like in NXT. I feel like it's more mid-card guys like Axiom and Tyler Bate and, you know, the tag team division, with all the guys that they have there. I feel like those are more where we're at. I mean, hell, we haven't really even seen Ilya Dragunov in a while.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those where I'm getting to the point now where, like, what are we doing here? Are we gonna just completely forget that Ilya Dragunov exists? Braun Breaker, New Year's Evil, defeated Grayson Waller, defeated Apollo Crews, defeated Jeep Wagoneer. Was on a losing end of an NXT tag title match with Wesley. They lost to Pretty Deadly back in November. The last time we saw Ilya Dragunov was the triple threat match with JD McDonough back at Halloween Havoc. So, both of those guys make perfect sense. JD McDonough, Grayson, Ilya Dragunov could be guys that could beat him. So, it's just one of those things where, like, right now, I feel like Donovan Dijak almost makes the most sense to beat Braun Breaker. Like, Dijak wins the North American title, holds it for a couple weeks, loses it at whatever, and then gets himself into the world title picture at Stand and Deliver. Because if they're not taking the title off of Braun Saturday night, like, he's going into Stand and Deliver with the title. He's not dropping it randomly on a Tuesday night NXT show.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it. It's great. Like this roster doesn't have depth.
No, it really doesn't. Like, the women's division has a ton of depth. The men's division is kind of thin.
Yeah.
And I think that's why guys like Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes are still there. You take them out, like, you've lost a lot of your depth.
Yeah, like, and that's the insane part. And that's like, I wish they would have just held this match until Stand and Deliver. Like,
I think I would have, but that's me.
Because I think that's kind of your problem right now, because like Waller, when you did that, what the hell was that match called? The one with the at the last show, the new match.
Oh, the deadline, the Iron Survivor challenge.
Yes.
That should be for a main event match at your biggest show of your year. Like, that should be your Royal Rumble for NXT. Like, that should get you a title shot at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. So like, Waller has this big run, and You know, so now he's kind of just in this weird in between deal.
Okay.
it's
Grayson Waller's a relatively attractive man, but that face that he's making in this picture that you have up right now in the video,
that's a weird
god awful.
That's a really
God
weird render they got
His
going on right
tights also do not help his attractiveness level.
I'm
there.
sorry.
Like the boxing tights.
Yeah, it does nothing
Boxer
for him.
shorts, the literal boxer shorts.
It does nothing for you.
I mean, it doesn't do much for me either, if we're being honest about it.
It doesn't do anything for me either, trust me, but I'm not the one complaining about it.
But yeah, I feel like they've just kind of they've done this weird back themselves into a corner situation with him, and I because yeah, like how many times can he go for the title? Like, are you just gonna run it back unless you have some sort of, and this is a cage match, right?
Yes, it is a steel cage match.
I mean, I guess theoretically you can do some sort of
Double finish where they both escape at the same time.
Both escape at the same time, sort of a thing. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it.
It just ends in a no contest, and we just get the rematch at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, you know, like
maybe they do like Last Man Standing or something at Stand and Deliver, so that somebody has to walk out.
You know what? That's actually the way to do it. I'm gonna change my pick.
I think that's the safest.
I
think that's the safest way to get there. I mean, I feel like we got to get there because I don't like we were talking about. I don't know who's after that.
Right, like who do you pick? Literally, literally, who do you pick?
I mean, unless you're bringing somebody in from the independents and you're bringing them in at Stand and Deliver, somebody a la Jay White, and you just strap the rocket ship to him in NXT.
I mean, they would need to
start vignettes on
Tuesday's or Braun, or like, and I don't know if you do it, but Braun wins on Saturday, and you have them come out and attack Braun after the match. So, like, let's pretend it's Jay White.
I don't know if Jay White's still under contract by New Japan at this point.
Yeah, but just for the sake of pretend here, but like whoever it's going to be, lights go out. Jay White shows up, clocks Braun Breaker.
Yep.
There's your match.
Yep, absolutely. If this match does not end in a no contest, whomever is facing Braun Breaker does something to him at the end of this match.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Awesome. All right, so that is your NXT Vengeance Day preview. Saturday at 8:00 from, I believe it's what the fuck's the name of this arena?
Is it it's not the...
It is the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Spectrum Center holds approximately 19,077 for Charlotte Hornet games.
There we go.
Also the former home of the Charlotte Bobcats.
I think it's going to be a decent showing, and then I think we're going to start seeing this with your NXT premium live events moving forward.
I can see this where obviously not every PLE will end up outside of Orlando, but I do think that there will be more traveling for the NXT brand. I'm just worried from an NXT point. This is just me. Would that show sell as good as it would without people like the New Day on it?
Probably not. But you could do smaller. You could do like 5,000 seater arenas. Like, because this one's obviously a little bit bigger, and the one at Mania is probably going to be this year is probably going to be the four. Now, is it going to be the Forum? Where are they doing?
I'm looking. Hold on.
But like, so let's see here. It's going to be
Stand and Deliver will be at the Crypto.com arena.
So it's going to be at the big joint. Okay.
Home of the Los Angeles Lakers.
So that's Mania weekend. So, like that's gonna sell because it's Mania weekend.
100%.
But like outside of that, like you only have a couple other actual premium live events NXT wise during the calendar year. Do them at 3,000 to 4,000 seater arenas, like your AHL or ECHL arenas, or do them at like a college arena. Like they've done that before. So like,
I'm trying to see,
you're getting them outside of the Orlando deal, but like you're not making them look silly by not selling out a 12,000, 13,000 seat arena.
All right, so if you go over to twitter.com and go to @WrestleTix,
Yeah.
that is the the graphs that people can use to show what's still available and what's not. NXT Vengeance Day, according to them, @WrestleTix on Thursday, February 2nd. Available tickets currently 879. The current setup capacity is only set up for 5768, so 4889 of the tickets have been distributed. So just a smidge under 6,000 is the setup in an arena that holds, what did we say it was, 11 or 12 for 17 or something was what we said for.
Yeah.
So they're obviously tarping off pretty much the entire upper deck, which, probably not a bad idea.
That's the smart play.
Yeah, especially if you can sell tickets for a relatively inexpensive price, so parents can bring their kids to a show like that. Crypto.com Arena for WrestleMania weekend, obviously that holds anywhere between 16 to 21,000 for wrestling shows, according to the Wikipedia.
Yeah, quick glance here. I was able to pull it. So yeah, there's your look. So yeah, obviously all of your upstairs ain't going to be sold. There's still some available in the downstairs. Would expect some sort of deals over the next couple days if you're in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I said, do these small arenas, and I think that's your ticket for the NXT stuff moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. Funny that Raw on Monday in Orlando, the setup currently for capacity is 9,369 and 8,200 have been sold. So they're not that far off with the NXT setup compared to Monday Night Raw in the middle of Orlando. So that's the Vengeance Day preview. Keep an eye on that on Saturday. We'll probably have some wrestlers of the week from the show on next week where we can talk about it during that segment, but we will not be doing a recap of this show because it is fucking Vengeance Day.
There's a decent possibility I don't watch it.
To be honest,
I know I'm going out to dinner with family on Saturday, and there's a real good chance I don't catch the.
There's a real strong chance that depending on when I get off of work, that I go to bed because we have a 9 a.m. game, so I might be watching it on Sunday because there's no football to watch this week.
That's true.
It's all right. This is the first start of off season, pretty much. Before Super Bowl, then that's it.
I'll probably watch the NHL because go Metro.
Because gamble.
No, I don't gamble on the All-Star game. You're gambling on 3-on-3s. You are a degenerate.
You are, yeah, you are a degenerate at that.
Right?
3-on-3 hockey games where the goalies don't even try. No, I'm good.
Yeah, no. Stay away. Stay far away.
Over. Bet the over.
Yeah, I'll bet the over in everything. Sir, the over is 37.5.
Over.
I said what I said. EJ, your topic, right?
Yep, my topic. Mine is pretty simple. Look, I'm not sitting there saying that AEW is going out of business, none of that. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be okay, going to sustain for a little while longer. But hypothetically, what if AEW just decided that, you know what, after this week, we're done, we'll close up shop, this and that. These wrestlers have no more jobs.
If Joe keeps sharing pictures of Tony Khan like that, AEW is going out of business.
Yeah,
dude, that's the real cover of Bloomberg Business.
Yeah,
I know. Like, are you kidding me right now? So let me hold on. Preview your topic. I'm going to pull up the report I saw from earlier of the Royal Rumble profit.
But my topic is if AEW goes out of business this week, for example, WWE looks at that roster and they want to sign and their goal is to sign at least 5 wrestlers, male or female. Who are the 5 that you think will come to mind that they will want to sign on the roster? If you want to round robin us, we can do that, or how you want to do
it? But you're missing a very integral part. You told us in the chat.
Oh yeah, one exception: you cannot name MJF.
There you go.
I was going to say, please don't leave out that important part because then we're going to start doing this. People are like, why the fuck isn't Jim or Mike picking Maxwell?
No, Jim. Okay, so here's the deal. In reference to this article that was going around today, that the billionaire son of Shad Khan, Tony Khan, is taking on WWE in their time of chaos, right? Like it's trying to take over the wrestling world. It was announced this week. WWE revealed one of its bigger pay-per-view events, Royal Rumble 2023, generated more than $7.7 million in gate revenue. The new record set on this past Saturday was more than 50% higher than the previous record, which was 2017, when the show was held in San Antonio. In addition, WWE announced the 2023 Royal Rumble set all-time venue merchandise and sponsorship records. Compared to the previous year, merchandise sales increased by 135%. Sponsorship was 200% higher than in 2022, with the first sponsored match, the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, and first sponsored countdown clock, which was Applebee's. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It wasn't until 10 minutes before 3CT went on the air tonight that I was even aware that Applebee's sponsored the countdown clock.
I never even looked at the.
Go back and go back and watch the Royal Rumble matches. Under the countdown clock is the Applebee's logo. Like
I didn't even notice.
I didn't even notice it.
I was
I haven't eaten there in years.
WWE just printing money silently.
I was just watching a highlight clip of the 2016 or 19 World Baseball Classic. So I'll go turn on Royal Rumble right now.
On social media, the Roman Reigns Sami Zayn videos received more than 20 million views throughout WWE platforms, becoming the most viewed WWE clip so far this year.
Oh, WWE's in trouble. Wow, interesting.
Shocker.
And WWE, if and when it sells this year, is going to sell for billions and billions of dollars. That's not millions, that is billions with a B. The idea that Tony Khan is somehow threatening the business of WWE is insane. That article gets written. I don't know who Shad Khan knows. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who Shad Khan knows.
I think the timing of that article is pretty bad because I'm sure they did that interview probably a while ago.
They probably did it a couple weeks ago when all the Vin stuff was going on, which is even dumber in and of itself because the WWE stock was soaring to levels that it hadn't reached in 3+ years. But anyway, not the point. Yeah, I mean, I would say let's try. Like, I mean, we can add the caveat, like, you know, if as we go around, the person that you were going to take is already taken, maybe try and hit some honorable mentions. Like, I have my top 5, and then I have an honorable mention list of maybe 5 to 10.
I put like 9 on my list.
Yeah,
So
we're not just going, I'm going to take blank. Well, I was going to take them, so I'm still going to say them. Like, we'll try to spice it up.
Yeah, like I'll literally say, yeah, they were on my list, and because they're on my list, I'll. Yeah. All right. So, Ernest, it's your topic. Why don't you?
All right. So the first, ladies first, of course. I know you guys can't stand her, but I think
how are you taking her with the first fucking pick?
Was that in order? It doesn't matter in order. This is 5 people. It doesn't matter in order.
I'm taking my number 1 choice off the board.
So am I.
No, I'm just saying Jade Cargill, because I feel like if you put her in the WWE system and actually develop it properly, you know, maybe she won't be great, but she at least make her. See, the thing is, her character is fantastic. She has the look. There is something to work with.
Her promo skills suck. Her in-ring work sucks.
Let's say, but AEW doesn't really stress. They don't, from my knowledge, they don't necessarily stress the development is not as concise as WWE's. Obviously, you put her down with with NXT for a year or two. They can make her some semi fucking usable, whatever.
I don't think there's a shot in hell that if you bring her from NXT or from AEW that you're putting her on NXT.
Really? You don't think so?
I think she's too big for that brand. Like, you've created a monster who's 50-0. There's no way you're putting her on the basic base
of the AEW.
No, I understand that, but you think Hunter and company gives a fuck about what they're doing? Like, look, I mean,
if they're smart, they do.
She's not on a level of like the mid card women.
Ernest, she's not on the level of the mid card in the fucking company that she's 50-0 in.
In ring, yes. No, in ring, I agree with you. Character wise, she's a great character, obviously. But Cargill's the first one I would.
But let me ask you this though, while we're talking about her, what is her character? Coming out like a different version of Storm every fucking week, like she doesn't really have a character. It's come out, kick somebody in the
deal, man. Like let's think right now. The top of the NXT Women's Division is Roxanne Perez right now, NXT Women's Champion.
I'm
She's
taking
5'1". She's 5'1". Jade Cargill is 5'10".
Yep.
And built like a brick shit house.
Yep.
Like you are gonna put Jade Cargill standing and literally staring straight down
at the top of her fucking head
at Roxanne Perez. There's no way. No way. She goes to the main.
Was Raquel Gonzalez also what 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" also too?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Raquel's tall.
Right.
But Raquel also started in their developmental system.
Right. No, I'm not. I
had my Jade in my honorable mentions.
No, for the record, the only reason I mentioned Jade going to NXT is it's the developer. I mean, she should be. She is main roster ready in terms of character, but her in ring.
Yeah, but what you do is you bring her in silently,
right?
Have her work, and then her debut is on the main roster.
Correct. She doesn't wrestle. She doesn't wrestle.
She doesn't wrestle in NXT. Here's the deal.
Right,
I have her on my honorable mentions because I do think that in the WWE training system, you can make her good enough to be on WWE TV. Let's be honest. Like Dana Brooke is on WWE TV. Okay. Shayna Baszler is on WWE TV. She hasn't been good on the main roster. I understand Shayna Baszler is a better wrestler, but she hasn't been good on WWE TV. Ronda Rousey, this second run was on WWE TV. So yeah, I understand, Mike, you're grossed out by it, but like Jade Cargill, like I think could actually be a better WWE superstar than Ronda Rousey.
I agree with you. I was more throwing up at Ronda Rousey.
I understand that, but my point is that the people in WWE can make her good enough to be a WWE.
I trust right.
Yeah, I want to agree with Jim on that one. I think that the actual issue that Jade has is the same issue that a lot of the AEW roster has, which is AEW creative doesn't know how to be creative. They don't know how to put her in a storyline. They don't know how to put her in a real feud. It's kind of been just the same rigmarole like for the last 8 months. It's, which person is going to join her little faction that she's then going to turn on, or they're going to turn on her, and then they're going to be win number insert 0 through 50 here. There's nothing really new happening with her. There's nothing really entertaining happening with her. But the thing is, if you look at her just from a look standpoint, just from a how far she's developed in a very short period of time standpoint, because I tell you what, look at her latest match and look at her first match. Look at her when she was in the ring tag teaming with Shaq. She's gotten better. Has she gotten?
Don't look at that last match. Look at the one before it, because that one on fucking last night was god-awful.
But the point is, she has gotten better. Has she gotten a million times better? No. But she's only had 50 matches in the last year and a half. You're not gonna get better if you're not getting ring time. If she was in WWE, if she was on the WWE system, they would develop her the way that she actually needs to be developed. So I actually think that would make total sense.
And only that, she's extremely marketable.
It is. The clock is sponsored by Applebee's. I'm watching the Rumble right now.
Is it really?
It's fucking.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
So I agree with what Jim said about
what
Jade.
Makes me sad.
But it's definitely one of those.
Just one thing about the Applebee's clock in a Vince McMahon led WWE, Michael Cole would have said something as Braun Strowman came out, and he'd have been like, Braun Strowman, who's been eating good in the neighborhood, on his way down to the ring. Like that, we were missing out on that. That's why none of us had any idea. We literally let him go with the intern Mark joke.
I mean,
they're the same person. I swear to
might
God.
As well. They are exactly
the same person.
Hi, Mark. Same.
Hi, boys.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah. No. When I look at, I agree with what Jim said, but my point is she can't be on the NXT roster.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like if she goes, if they go out of business and she ended up down at the Performance Center for 6 months, working 4 and 5 days a week, and then oh, hey, by the way, at next year's WrestleMania, she's going to show up. Like, cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all for it because she put the work in to get substantially better.
Should I
Jim,
show my-
Jim,
go
your
ahead.
first selection.
With a fucking bullet, the Elite. Without a question.
That's the easiest. I think that's the easiest one.
You can pair them against the Bloodline. You can pair them against the
Imperium.
Judgment Day.
Imperium.
Like, yeah, Imperium. Like, and then once you do some of the 6-man-y stuff, guess what? You have a tag team that you can work around. And guess what? They're going to be fun against the Usos. They're going to be fun against the Street Profits.
Even against Alpha Academy.
That I was
yeah,
just
I
about to
agree with
say
you.
that. Like you
you.
don't you think that's not going to be a great match? And then guess what? You get Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins. Pick whoever you want to put against.
Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang.
Exactly. 100. Yeah, with a bullet. That's my number one pick. The Elite.
Joseph.
I feel like mine, it's one that, again, these guys would actually go to NXT. I think they're another situation where they're pretty raw talent and they just need a little bit more development, just a little bit more to get to, I think, where they could really get to, and that's the Acclaimed.
Love it.
Listen.
They for the record, they're my number 2.
Yeah, I mean,
think-
they're fantastic and they're extremely over with the crowd, but like you're not getting 5-star matches out of them, and I don't think anyone's expecting it. I think you can get them there. I think they both have a level of talent. Just kind of, it almost reminds me a little bit of the Street Profits, where it's kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, they have all this personality, they have all this charisma, and they're good in the ring. They can get that much better. The difference is the Street Profits have been around a little bit longer and also have the developmental system of WWE behind them. So they've actually gotten better. They've actually had, arguably 5-star matches, as opposed to the Acclaimed who, they're not quite there yet. And I don't know if they'll ever get there in AEW, and that's not a knock on the Acclaimed at all, but I think they would definitely get there in WWE.
I mean, they're not going to get there having feuds with the fucking ass boys. I'll tell you that much.
Nope.
Like, imagine taking your hottest roster member and putting them in a feud with the ass boys. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
it is
no,
so
that's
dumb.
awful.
I'm not even an Acclaimed fan, and I feel bad for them at this point.
I mean,
Tony Khan presents.
See, but this is not where Tony Khan presents. Because here's my thought process about the Acclaim. Their act right now in WWE, with them being pushed by WWE's machine, would be even more over. Like, I don't know necessarily that the Acclaim come over and have 5-star matches in WWE, but what they're doing right now would be pushed more to the moon because of the machine with the entertainment that Bowens and Castor can do. Like,
you gotta reel in the Max Caster stuff a little bit.
correct. Just
Make sure it's PG. But besides that, you're good as gold.
I agree. My first pick, go home, old friend. Give me old nacho cheese, baby.
Okay.
Adam Cole in a Triple H ran fucking WWE's world champion.
Oh,
Maybe
for
I'll
sure.
My second pick here.
He's in my honorable mentions, actually.
Mine too. My second pick actually is, if this was like 6 to 8 months ago, would have been a shoo-in. I'll still send him there now, but you kind of have him here already because of Braun Strowman. You send Wardlow.
Oh yeah, he's my number 3.
I had War Daddy on my list as well.
It did. It would have shoo-in. Now if Braun wasn't there, shoo-in definitely. But you kind of the same guy right now. But you work with it.
I think Wardlow has so much more charisma than Braun Strowman could ever.
And he
he
has more potential because he's not old and broken. I mean,
He's
Braun
also
has
much better looking.
Braun has no knees, No fucking knees at all.
How old is Braun now? Like 30, late 30s?
He is
37, I think.
Wow.
37,
Also,
You gotta
38
understand, he did the fucking strongman. He's
for a while.
39.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? Really?
He'll be 40 this September. Dude,
Oh, wow.
He did
did
powerlifting and
strongman
strongman
stuff.
shit for like 10 years.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
you know, he's, and don't get me wrong, he has gotten himself into infinitely better shape,
Correct.
which has extended his career. But yeah, I mean, he's never going to be a world champion again. He's not. He's the new Big Show in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. Like that's a money spot for the record. But yeah, Wardlow is that plus athleticism and a character, and
Could probably cut a better fucking promo with his eyes closed.
well, that ain't hard. And has world title potential in the WWE. I mean, how old he's what, 20 something?
25, I think is what.
He's that young?
Oh fuck, dude, he's 35.
Jesus Christ.
Wardlow? Really?
I was gonna say I didn't think Wardlow was that young.
I didn't think he's that old though. I thought maybe at least 30.
I was thinking,
Yeah,
But-
he
okay,
just,
but
he
here's the
just turned
thing.
35.
But here's the thing, though. You have to remember, like, wrestling nowadays, it's not what it was in the 80s and the 90s. Like, 45-year-old Ric Flair and 45-year-old Roddy Piper aren't, the age in the cage. You know what I mean? Like, guys are regularly wrestling now into their 40s and 50s and 60s in some cases and looking fantastic.
Yeah,
and,
but
you're this isn't what it was.
No, but you're missing one big thing in every name that you said. They're all guys that are like 6'2", 6'3". Wardlow's a guy who's like, when you get to that age when you're like 6'5".
I mean, he's built at 6'3", 277. He's also wrestled on the indies for 5 years before he got to AEW. So I mean, he's 10 years in the business.
Tall guys' knees go faster than fucking short guys.
He's shorter for this world.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Other people have been in the business where they've been able to wrestle when they're in their 60s. Wardlow ain't making it to 60 in this profession. Not without like 6 knee replacements by the time he fucking gets there. His knees will go.
He's on the way to what Undertaker was 5 years ago. And I mean, here's the deal. I still think Wardlow has a good 5-6 years in him if you use him properly.
I still think
he's still on my top 5 for WWE to target. But
I
didn't realize he was 35. So that clock's ticking. Wrong side of 30 if you've listened to 3CT.
Yeah.
My pick next, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm going women's division. Without question, the only woman in my top 5, and that's Jamie Hayter.
Her.
She's on fire right now. I think she is if not the
Somebody
most.
tell that bitch to stop, drop, and roll.
She is one of the most talented women that they have, and I can only imagine the matches that she could have with Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, Bianca. Like, sign me up for all of that and more. Asuka, sign me up. Her.
Yeah, no, she was the only woman in my top 5 also, so I think that one's a fairly easy one. Joe, you have a pick before you?
I'm gonna just take an easy one because I feel like he's gonna end up back there one day anyway, maybe on like a retirement tour, who knows, but I think Jericho ends up back there at some point.
It's like you knew that was coming.
He was the first on my honorable mentions. Those I didn't actually necessarily put in order.
I thought you'd go another direction, to be honest with you. But
Well, it's an easy layup. I'll admit that because it feels obvious, but
No, I think I kind of agree with you on that one. At least part of that, Joe, that I think he will definitely be a WWE Hall of Famer one day.
yeah, for sure.
But I think he will have at least one more match in WWE before he finally retires.
Oh yeah.
I would agree with that. My second pick, oh fuck.
I love that guy.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I think he would be a guy who could fight 5-star matches at WrestleMania in any part of the show that you put him in. Give me the old Hangman.
That's my next pick.
Oh,
actually.
for sure.
Yeah.
Give me cowboy shit. I mean, that guy's what, probably in his early 30s.
Yeah. That's my third pick, actually. Good job. Yeah, I can see that guy definitely doing even if he was in the
31.
mid card. Oh,
He's
that's
how old?
it? Wow.
31.
That's good.
He'll be 32 this summer.
He's a
Even in the mid
baby.
card, he'd be awesome. Even in the mid card, be awesome.
Well, I mean, I know whenever he was in Ring of Honor with Bullet Club, he was in his like 20s. So I didn't think it was that long ago. So yeah, he's a guy that I think would be a absolute building block for the next chapter of WWE.
Especially in a Triple H WWE. In a Vince
Mhm.
WWE, I'd say he probably doesn't even get a second look or a third look. But yeah, Triple H, 100% he's in.
Right. So your second pick was my third pick. So my fourth pick is going to be. Now, obviously, I don't know if they will use his character. Oh, maybe they will. We'll see. Or Darby Allin.
Darby all in.
Yeah.
We've said it on this show, and that match last night proved it. He's not here for a long time.
No.
He is here for a good time.
For sure. I mean, I would take Darby Allin in WWE for the same reason I want Marco Stunt in WWE, and that's just to watch Brock Lesnar fucking yeet him all over a fucking Monday Night Raw. You could literally do the first hour of Raw just be Brock Lesnar
Just throwing him and Marco.
fucking guy all around the building. Like here they are in the back. You know,
Bye.
here they are in a suite. Just all day. Just have Brock chucking that. I mean, hilarious. Hilarious.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 100%. My next one is Ricky Starks. I think this guy I think this guy's on his way there anyhow, whether AEW's in business or not.
Ricky Skaggs.
Ricky Skaggs. He's a Cody dude. You know, he was with Cody at the Rumble this weekend. So he's already, I'm sure, making connections within the company by Joe. And
He's on his way over. He'll be back.
I know. But yeah,
him not being here is
Starks
good for my next pick.
Entertainer.
Oh, 100%. Him not being here though is good for my next pick because I think he is going to take him. So fuck him.
What is that pick?
Oh, I want to finish talking about the greatness that is Ricky Starks.
Absolute.
Yeah, absolute.
Yeah.
Put him right now in the fucking Intercontinental, the U.S. title picture. Could you imagine Austin Theory versus Ricky Starks in a pose off? Joe would fucking die. We would have to literally fucking just Hoover, just fucking suck him up. Just fucking
Dead.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Jason's.
He would literally explode.
Yeah, I'd have to put him in the freezer just so that he wouldn't be liquid anymore. Just fucking, here you go.
Yeah, like that
funny.
would be
Such a mess. What happened? Joe was here.
I'm mega hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My next pick is a tag team. It's a new tag team. Both of these guys, I think, would be well off after a stay in developmental and be good members of the main roster. Give me the worst t-shirt in AEW history, Jungle Hook.
Wow.
I mean, I like it.
I'm so surprised they
I like
lasted
the
this long.
creativity because
That
they are
shirt
now
is
a tag team.
That shirt is god awful.
It is terrible. Also, I do love that I remember being old enough where I remember a time when the WWE would get murdered for just putting 2 single stars in a tag team.
Oh yeah.
Because it was uncreative and stupid to just put single stars in a tag team because you have nothing else for them to do.
Matt Riddle, Randy
for the
Orton.
record, I'm fine with it. I don't hate the idea of putting it because guess what? You know what that sort of situation gave us? It gave us fucking Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. It also gave us the fucking bar. Like it has given us
RK Bro.
Yeah, it has given us tons of great tag teams over the years. So I'm not anti it. I just think it's hilarious how we went from being in a world where that was kill
Frowned
the
upon.
WWE
Heavily frowned upon.
to now it's just encouraged. And Tony Khan, Booker of the Year.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook. Jungle Hook.
Sports entertainers,
name.
absolutely.
100%.
This is actually my last one. And I thought Joe was gonna pick this guy.
He probably would have
Returning.
if he was on the phone call.
Right. He said Jericho though, but I thought he was gonna say this guy, John Moxley.
So it's funny. Me and Joe had this conversation yesterday when we were driving around. I don't think Mox is a guy that would go back right now.
Well, remember the question is not whether or not he decides
That's who
to go.
WWE would
Who they
target.
target.
Oh, I'm just saying. I
think he goes.
I think he would end up just fucking hanging out in GCW. Hold on, I gotta let Joe in.
But yeah, no, I think the WWE would be smart to target him, and I also think that if they would target him, that the smart play as well is to target John Moxley, not Dean Ambrose.
Right. Don't go back.
Yeah,
And because it's Hunter also too, not Vince.
Yeah.
Running creative, that the odds of that happening are pretty high.
and I think that would be, and you know what, honestly, like if he ever does like finish up with AEW or whatever happens with AEW, which for the record, like there's people who have grossly overestimated the fear of the demise of AEW. AEW is doing just fine. But with Moxley, I think there is a scenario where in a Triple H led WWE, maybe even more so if they get sold, depending on who they get sold to, as long as like Triple H is still running creative and things, that they can pitch John Moxley in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dean Ambrose will never fly again, ever, fucking ever. He's not going to do it. There's not a chance that he does the Dean Ambrose thing again. But if you pitch John Moxley in the WWE, I think there's potential there. I 100% think there's potential there. But yeah, I would target him. I would absolutely target him. And it's up to him. I had you muted there, Mike.
I figured as much whenever I looked down and saw the big thing was fucking. I thought I hit it when I got up, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, no, you'd be stupid not to target him. I just don't necessarily know that like he'd be dying to go back, especially the way that it kind of ended.
Yeah, I can see him being a journeyman, to be honest with you. If AEW's going, I can see him going through different promotions.
Like I said, I think Triple H has the ability to make it possible. If Vince was still in charge, there's not a chance. Right.
0.0.
I don't think Vince is targeting him, to be honest with you.
Probably not.
That was
all right, my next one, I am going to go. I have a bunch because we've rolled through my top 5. So I'll just go the next one. I didn't put these in any particular order, but I'll go the next one that's on my list, and that's a guy that for some reason, and maybe it's a him problem, I don't know, but maybe Triple H, because again, I think where he had at least some of the biggest success of his career was in NXT. Miro.
All right, Miro. Old Miro.
Oh, hi, Miro.
And I don't know. I don't think you bring in Miro. I don't know that you bring in Rusev.
Something all new?
Maybe. I don't know.
Just call him like Cyborg.
I mean, Miroslav is his name. So I mean, you don't bring back Rusev. I think you let the whole Rusev thing.
No, because it's just going to be wanting Aiden English to come back and sing fucking Rusev.
Right. But yeah, I would go Miro. I think Triple H could hopefully make him into something, and if not, it's the end of his career.
No, I would agree with that assessment 100%. How many have we given? 3.
I'm
This is my
on
fourth?
my not. Well, yeah. What
I'm saying,
I went through my 5
well,
already. It was Jim.
Well, you
You
better
can go.
fucking get through some honorable mentions there, bud, because you said come up with
Oh,
5.
I got a couple. But
Yeah, we can
saying.
just rattle off a couple
I'll
of
go
those.
through your 5 first, and then we'll go to the match.
All right. Next up on my short list, FTR.
They're on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, kind of, but it's also kind of assumed that.
I mean, yeah, I think at this point they're basically almost not even on the AEW roster anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Skinny Jeans Hogan is here.
There he is.
Can't hear you yet. What was your 4th, Joe?
Hold on.
What?
Who was the last person that you heard picked? Joe.
I don't remember.
All right. Dynamite drop in, Rusty. They don't call you the best in the business for nothing. Do you have anyone that you want to add, and we'll tell you if they've been picked yet?
Jay Lethal.
It's not been picked yet.
There you
There
go.
we go. That was easy.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Do we
Reasonings?
just want
Any? Or
He's Jay Lethal.
all right, cool. Looks like Roxanne Perez 2.0 over here. Awesome. Can't wait. My last one that was my 5 was the Doctor, Britt Baker.
she was on my honorable mentions. She just didn't make the top 5.
She didn't.
But-
She I mean, I knew that one of us was taking Jamie Hayter, so I wasn't like zeroed in on her because I knew she was going to end up being conversated about.
Yeah.
So
First.
conversated about.
The other ones I had on my
Just wait.
honorable-
Oh, that's right. You won't listen to it because you weren't on the air during that portion. But I mentioned something when we were talking about Ricky Starks. So
Okay.
when you go back, if you ever go back and actually find out that part, feel free to let me know.
Also,
It's
Keith
probably
Lee on
right
this too.
around the 1 hour-ish mark, Joe, just for the record.
Yeah.
I even give
Okay.
you a close timestamp so you don't have to listen to the whole thing.
There we go.
Because you only care about your self anyway, so only your parents.
That's why I said he probably won't listen to that part because only know that's the 6 minutes that he wasn't on the fucking show. So he's just like, fast forward this shit.
The other names that were on my honorable mention list, and honestly, it's for the most part, half of them. A lot of my lists that I've crossed off are ex WWE stars that would kind of be coming home, but I have Saraya on my honorable mentions. I have Danielson. Close out his
Danielson
career.
for sure.
Big Bill.
Big Bill.
Change his goddamn. I hate Big Bill. What a stupid name. Again, it's one of those
Who?
things.
William Morrissey,
Morrissey.
aka Big
Oh.
Cass.
Big Cass.
Big Bill.
But for all the years WWE gets shit for terrible names of wrestlers, and you're gonna give me fucking Big Bill? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Big Bill. Give me a goddamn break. But I have Hikaru Shida on my list. Anna Jay, Saucet, and Brian Cage.
Respectfully.
Most respectfully. And Brian Cage.
Rage in a Cage.
Rage and Cage and a Page and
The only other guy I have here, because obviously I had Adam Cole there already. It's Keith Lee I had on my list also.
Oh, you're gonna Baskin Robbins in his glory?
Yeah.
31 flavors.
that's a good one. Yeah, I should have had him on mine.
Anything else?
I mean, I think that they should target somebody like Swerve, but I don't think Swerve goes back.
Yeah, maybe.
Just
You
very
always
opinionated
ask
his way out.
What's it says no, and that's it.
The other one that I was heavily thinking about when it comes to what's going on there is Samoa Joe. Because Joe has come out and basically said that he was like a casualty of 2 people in higher up positions going back and forth, and he was just kind of like
Good point.
axed because one person wanted more pull than another or something similar to that. So number 1 guy, Oates, is coming out, baby. Number 1 guy.
Old Oates.
Old Oates.
Oh, yes, Chucky, we have our top suspect.
You got any more over there, Blue?
I'm good.
I was talking about Blue over here. and his
Sorry.
Bluey
Skinny
and his Skinny Jean Hogan.
No, I got nothing.
Right. I'm
Dynamite dropping Rusty.
Did anyone say Action Androgynous?
No, nobody said fucking Action Andrade. Nobody said Toyota Sequoia.
Who?
Exactly.
That guy.
I mean, Andrade really.
What about
Should.
take a shitter?
I don't think. I don't think take shits
What,
is.
what about Rio? I'm joking. No.
Yeah. Oh.
Ernest,
Yeah,
are you tapping out?
Yeah, I'm tapping out, dude. My fucking back is a fucking wreck.
Okay. Bye.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Toodles.
Oh wow, I beat Ernest.
I guess.
Is he frozen or did he leave?
Oh, there it is. See
Yeah.
you. Bye.
I thought he froze for the record.
He definitely froze for a minute
I was
there.
just like, can I talk shit yet, or is he still just there? He's pretending he's gone.
Like we did they leave the room?
Yeah, exactly.
I fucking hate that guy.
Fuck you.
Oh shit! Oh, he was still in the room. He probably fucking heard me.
Oh look, it's Rey Mysterio. Oh, never mind.
Oh no. Well, proper time, proper
You're
transition
welcome.
there. Obviously Royal Rumble this past weekend. I know we did 3CT. We did a immediate react pod that you can check out on our feed.
I listened
because 4 of the 5, 80% of us were there in person. So we took care of that one right after the fact. Is there anything specific from the show you guys want to talk about?
I want to say that the ending of the women's Rumble match was probably one of my favorite Rumble match endings in a while.
That was super fun.
Yeah, they did that really well. It was very entertaining. It was kind of edge of your seat stuff, honestly. I love when they do that in a Rumble. So I think the women's Rumble was actually really, really good this year, honestly.
And here's the cool thing about the ending of the women's Rumble is the way they did it. Any 3 of them could have won.
Oh yeah, for sure. They had me believing in Liv Morgan for a minute, and you know she's not my favorite.
When
Not
Asuka
your
got
shucky ducky
eliminated.
quack top 5.
No.
when Asuka got eliminated and Rhea's like hanging on, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, they're gonna do Liv. Like at that point, I was like, they're really gonna have Liv. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't mean to have that reaction, but I'm like, we tried this, it worked when she won, and then it stopped working. I don't think having her be the Rumble winner is the best choice.
It also didn't help that she was kind of wrestling the biggest piece of dog shit in the fucking world.
No, I'll agree with you on that one. But I feel like Liv Morgan, much like many champions in the history of this great sport, the chase was better than the victory.
Yeah.
The journey to Liv Morgan becoming champion was better than Liv Morgan as champion. So I was like, they're actually doing this, huh? And then they actually did the right thing, and I thought the way that they did it was super, super cool.
The fact that Dominic Mysterio couldn't rip that mask.
Oh, dude.
And you
kept trying.
And you guys wondered why I was, quote, disrespecting Dom on 3CT tonight.
Dude, they
That's
didn't
why.
gimmick it. Like, you couldn't rip that mask. None of us are going to rip that mask without it being gimmicked.
I also wouldn't have been walking out with my dad's mask trying to rip it because I'm not a dick.
No, but look at him. He gets
But he is a dick. That's the point.
He's doing fucking jumping jacks outside the ring.
Dominic Mysterio is so goddamn good right now. It's time.
He's a heat magnet. He really is.
It's time you better start fucking recognizing Mike, because
so when does it go from he's so great at getting heat to he gets X-Pac heat and nobody
But
fucking
he
wants
doesn't
him?
yet.
The keyword in that sentence.
when he's
at some
done with
point.
the Judgment Day,
Yeah.
or when the Judgment Day is done.
So that's what I'm saying. So say Judgment Day goes on for another 6 months, then it's just go the fuck away.
Possibly.
It'll be interesting to see what they can do. I don't know.
Because I feel like he's gotten
Yeah, but,
somewhat
like,
better
I mean,
in ring, but he's
seriously.
still not great.
But here's the thing, like
Yeah.
it not only did he go from like, why the fuck is this guy in the business, to Rhea Ripley's like plaything in Judgment Day, which sign me up for that. But he's no longer just that though. Like he's actually good. Like, I'm not saying he's good in the ring, but that's the beauty of WWE. You don't have to be. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like
he
after
he has embraced that character.
yeah, after he has his match with Ray at WrestleMania, which he knows where it's all going in some
Absolutely.
capacity.
Unless Ray's injury is
Unless that's a thing, and then maybe it gets extended to SummerSlam or something, whenever Ray can come back. But after you're done with that, I mean, you can just have him basically being Rhea's bitch too, like just in her corner, kind of her heater, essentially.
He doesn't want to,
and it
do that.
works.
I will do that. Like, you can call me. You don't have to. You don't
Jim
have
is
to
ready
pay
to
me.
tag in.
You do not have to pay me that much to be that either. For the record, like, you don't. It doesn't have to be a high dollar contract.
pay for my flights, pay for my room.
Yeah, give me. Let me eat in catering and like, yeah, I'm good.
Give me a couple $100 stipend.
Right, I'm good. Just sign me up.
If you get to do that, I call dibs on being Austin Theory.
Oh, how did I know that this
Go
was
ahead.
gonna
That's
fucking
fine. That's fine. You do your thing, Joe. I'm not here to stop you. I am not here to stop you in that situation.
Let's thrive.
Yeah, I love the women's rumble. I thought the women's rumble was the better of the two. I don't get why people are hating on the men's rumble that much.
I'm not hating on it at all. Like, I actually
I've
really
seen a lot of people
it.
who are, and I'm like, man. First off, I thought that match,
for what reasons?
Some people said it wasn't that good once you cleared the Brock and Bobby and all that spot happened. They said, like, then it was like almost too predictable. I'm like, of course it was predictable. It was always going to be Cody.
Yeah.
It was always going to be Cody. Always.
I mean, the women's rumble has been predictable since basically
the beginning.
Fucking SummerSlam.
But like every year the Rumble is more or less predictable.
I do know that
years where it's not,
but there are years where it's like, okay, this person makes sense.
Right, but then there's years where it's like, yeah, Drew's gonna win.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, Bobby's gonna win.
But at least in the years where like you have multiple people that you think are gonna win, those are your final four.
Oh yeah.
Like this year, like Dominic Mysterio and Logan Paul made your final six or whatever. Yeah, two guys that aren't winning the fucking Royal Rumble.
I mean, Logan Paul had a title shot.
Here's the deal. There was part of me for a minute that was like, I mean, you can run that Paul Roman match back.
You really could.
Like, you could. You weren't gonna, because Cody was in there. But like, you could.
If Cody hadn't been available for the Rumble, if he was still injured, who do we think would have won? With the guys that were in it.
Who do we think would have won, or who do we think should have won?
Both.
Because I think Seth wins if.
Okay. But who do you think should have?
Gunther.
Interesting.
Just because I think he's your best in-ring guy right now. And give me the Bloodline versus Imperium.
Yeah, but that's not a WrestleMania. That's not a WrestleMania. I think you can get Bloodline Imperium at SummerSlam.
I don't think you're going to get Bloodline versus Imperium at all, because I think when fucking Roman loses the title, he's going the fuck away.
He is absolutely going away.
And I don't give a fuck about seeing Solo Sikoa being the guy who's taking on Gunther.
Well, no. Well, I'm not.
That's just me, though.
I'll hold my breath on what's happening with the Bloodline, at least until we see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, because
moving forward, because there's tons of questions there.
More questions than answers,
which I fucking love. But I think it's Seth to both of Joe's questions.
I can see that.
Like, if Cody's not ready, I think Seth is the and here's the thing: if Cody's not ready, because we're going under the assumption that Cody is going to
win.
The fact that they have both titles for it still.
I personally think if it wasn't Gunther, like, the only other person that I would have pulled the trigger on is Drew. Drew didn't get his moment at WrestleMania. You give Drew the win. Yeah, but if you know that hard date, Roman Reigns is leaving April 2nd, and he's taking 6 months off, you have to take the title off of him some way, shape, or form.
Drew's believable.
Yeah,
Seth's believable.
You can even make an argument for Sheamus just because of the way they pushed him in the last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, you could. I still think he's
But
more like
he's not the prettiest
the
one.
IC title.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I think Gunther's more likely for next Mania or SummerSlam. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if you wake up and it's like a week before the Rumble and you're like 0.0 chance that Cody can be in the match, and now you're looking at your documents and you go, okay, we have these 30 guys that are going to be in the ring. What are our options? I think if you're looking at like 4 names that make a ton of sense: Seth, Gunther, Drew, Logan Paul.
yeah, it's your final 4.
Maybe not your final 4 of the match, but those are the 4 names that you're looking at going, okay, one of these guys is probably fighting Roman Reigns and beating him for the title. What do we want to do? Then it narrows down to Seth or Drew because they're both faces. They make the most sense.
Yeah.
And then you go from there. And then you just flip a coin. But me being who I am, I would have wanted Gunther because that show on Saturday, we're actually watching the Men's Rumble right now. That's the coming out party for anyone who fucking doesn't believe in that guy.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. This next year is going to be the breakout of Gunther. This is going like whether it takes till next year's Mania or not, especially with Roman likely losing one or both of the titles, because I'm still confused, and we could still change. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. But at some point in the next calendar year plus till WrestleMania 40, Gunther will be the world champion. I think.
For sure. 100%. Especially the shape this man has gotten himself into, just the in-ring ability that he has, everything about him. I mean,
that fucking launch dropkick he did at hour 1:05.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
So here's my thing about the Rumble as a show overall this year. I think that it's definitely a thumbs up for me. No questions about that for the overall show. I think it's a show where it's more, and maybe this makes sense for the Royal Rumble because I feel like it kind of is what the Royal Rumble tends to be most years when it's at its best. It's a show full of moments. There's a lot of moments in this show that are like 5-star moments. Watching Cody get to win the Rumble and celebrate and point at the WrestleMania sign, 5-star moment. Watching the frankly Shakespearean way that the main event ends, the post-match, everything with Sami Zayn and the bloodline, and that was some of the best storytelling I've seen on TV, period. Like, let alone wrestling or any form of scripted entertainment is what I would say. That is incredible. They frankly deserve Emmy nominations for this writing. It's so layered and so interesting and so well done.
We were talking about it after the show, and it's pretty much the longest story that WWE has told since the Mega Powers explode.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, I mean, this goes back. It really goes back to when Roman returned at SummerSlam in 2020. The Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like,
this has been going on all that time since the beginning. This is the building,
and it just in terms of like size and specter, like by the end of this thing, like this is going to probably end up being the biggest story the WWE has ever told.
I can see that.
To date.
Just like in terms of long-term full storylines, like beginning to end. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And the thing is, the fun part about it is it feels like they have places that they're going with it. Like, it's not like it's like, remember when the NWO Sting feud in 97? Where like you spent a whole year building up to this match, and then you do this match, and that's great. And then there was nowhere to go from there. Like, WCW had no idea what to do. We ended up with a second version of the NWO and Tomato Face Sting. That's where we ended up like 4 months after. That should have been the biggest blow off to a feud of all time. And 4 months later, Sting's painted like a fucking member of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and Hulk Hogan's the champion again, and there's 2 NWOs, and we're going nowhere. That's literally where that went. That's not going to happen here.
No. And what's crazy about this one too is in the middle of it, Vince McMahon retired.
Right. I'd say it got stronger when that happened.
And it got better. Like, that's the fucking craziest part about all of this.
If Vince McMahon didn't retire, this all would have been done by like Survivor Series. This would have been rushed through. This would have not been the layered storytelling that it is. We would have gotten the Sammy turn a long time ago. We probably would have gotten them turning on Sammy as opposed to Sammy turning on them the way that he did. You know, because the argument is like, is it even him turning on them? Like when he's doing the right thing, you know, like there's just so much to it. And honestly, like if anyone asked me what should I watch from the Royal Rumble this year, I wouldn't even say a match. I'd be like, just go watch the ending after the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match.
I would tell someone to go find the best shrooms that they could and go watch the Pitch Black match.
Oh God.
So here's the thing.
That shit was just Naomi's gimmick in a wrestling match.
Visually, that was one of the coolest things the WWE has ever done. Visually.
Yes, 100%.
It was cool as shit. It was the perfect amount of time for a Bray Wyatt match. It was 5 minutes and 5 seconds. You had about another 5 of post-match spooky dookies. And then you got the hell out of it.
Uncle Howdy with that fucking elbow that he was 8 feet away from fucking LA Knight on.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, he protected everything except for himself.
Parkour.
He parkoured that. But like this year's Rumble was kind of really strange. So like you obviously had the men's Rumble, which when Cody wasn't number 1, I knew he was going to be number 30.
Yeah, can we talk about that real quick? Because I was listening to your guys' show and Tim coming in hot about, you know, old codes not being fucking could have put him anywhere else but 30 and no, you couldn't have, because they would have hijacked this show like they hijacked it with Brian when The Rock's music did not play at 30.
Right.
You had to put him at 30. There was no alternative. I get it. 1 sounds pretty. Problem with 1 is, hey, welcome back, first match. Go an hour and fucking 9 minutes.
Right. I get it. That's why you don't put him in that spot.
But also, you put him at 1, that countdown hits who you putting at 30. Because when it's Madcap Moss or when it's Drew McIntyre, like here, you have to put a heel in the 30 spot if it's not Cody Rhodes, because you want them to get booed after the scenario unfolds. You can't put a face in that situation because it's going to be Rey Mysterio all over again.
The thing too,
you know who's bulletproof in that spot?
Logan Paul.
Seth Rollins.
Logan Paul.
You could do Logan Paul in the 30 spot, but Seth Rollins is bulletproof in that spot.
The thing too to me is, what do you gain by having Cody Rhodes come out at number 1? He's already one of the most over guys on the entire roster.
It gives the opportunity for the full entrance. That's it.
Which is fine, but like
I don't even care about the full entrance. It gives you the story.
What, him coming in first?
Yes. He went through all 29. He worked his way back. He went through the gauntlet. And now he's going to go win the title that his dad never won.
I don't know that I need that part of the story. To me, it makes more sense having put like Gunther in there, and like now you've made somebody else. Because like honestly, Gunther's stock went up after going from he was in the match for an hour and 11 minutes. Mm-hmm. That man's stock went up 1,000,000 times over. There are people who started that show saying, who the hell is this guy? Because they don't watch SmackDown every week. And an hour and 11 minutes later, they were like, holy shit.
Here's the thing.
When can I see more of this guy?
You get tons of casual viewers.
You get people who haven't watched in years, and this is your chance to draw them back in. You know what? Fucking 7 foot tall baby Huey over here is going to draw people in.
Yeah.
I think if Cody, if you felt confident that he could go the distance and you put him at 1, it makes the story that much more. So the fact that they decided to go an opposite route to help build somebody else, like it makes sense. But I can see where, from a storyline perspective, Cody Rhodes coming in at 3rd or coming in at 1 and running the gauntlet makes that story just another level.
But in hindsight, too, you had Rhea do the all way through spot, which I actually like her getting that spot better. Because
See,
I think she needed that more than Cody did.
I feel like her coming in at like the 5 or 10 spot and beating Liv, who wanted the number 1 spot so bad, tells a whole nother story. Like if you decide when you're laying these out that okay.
Oh, Mike's mic went down. But no, yeah.
I can't hear you though.
But to Joe's point about Gunther with the new audience being portrayed. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I don't know what happened. They all of a sudden can't hear me.
There we go. I can hear you now.
Got me. All right.
Yeah.
My point to Joe's extending on Joe's point about the new audience being exposed to Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Viewership from last year, which was the WWE record for most people ever watching a Royal Rumble, was up 52% from last year.
Holy crap.
A 52% increase from last year. So yeah, like that, I think that was critical. I think Rhea benefits more from being the coast to coast than Cody does, because Cody's journey is about the end.
Yeah.
Like this for Rhea is just part of this bigger story from what she was when she got to WWE, when she was in that match with Charlotte at the Pandemic Mania, to who she is now. This was more part of that story. Cody, it didn't matter. Cody is going to win. For Cody to win the title, that's the end game. So like, it didn't matter if it was 1, 10, 12, 22, 26. But I agree, 1 or 30 better. And 30, you don't present the opportunity for the crowd to turn, because you get the returning hero.
Yeah, I agree.
Nah, yeah. The only thing with when I look at the Rhea situation, especially because she's fighting Charlotte, she made that abundantly clear on Monday night. Her coming in at 5, her coming in at 10, her coming in at 20. Her character. There are different ways that you could then book her to win that match. She could come in and just start wrecking souls and have the most eliminations in a women's match, and there are other ways to build to her being dominant, leading to her winning the match. So if you decided that you wanted to have Cody be the one that go wire to wire, I think there are other ways that you can build Rhea to where she could still be dominant leading into this match, and it's not a step back for her. Honestly, though, I don't have a problem with the way either one of these shook out. I guess now the question is tomorrow night, SmackDown. What do we think happens? Because Sammy put out a new T-shirt. It's Sami Zayn with the Kevin Owens duct tape over Sammy Uso. I mean, are we going right to KO and Sammy, or like, what are we doing here? Personally, leave KO off of TV until after Elimination Chamber for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sell the ass whooping.
Probably have to return at Elimination Chamber.
I think he has to wrestle there. It's in Montreal.
Well, see, no, I
would have him come out and save Sammy.
Yeah, it's the Brian Alvarez pitch. It's honestly like, if he didn't guess exactly what they're going to do, I hope Triple H was listening and it was just like, well, fuck, that's what makes the most sense. Because at this point, that is what makes the most sense. And that's kind of what I was talking about before with the whole, this still has places to go when it's over. Like, unlike the whole Sting Hulk Hogan angle where you got to the end and then just fucking there was nothing. You didn't know what to do from there. Here, the end game isn't Sammy versus Roman necessarily. Like Sammy versus Roman feels like it should be a logical end game, and they're gonna do it probably at Elimination Chamber. It's probably gonna end either with Sammy losing or like some sort of shenanigans. You're definitely gonna get a bloodline beatdown. My guess is Jey Uso's in Sammy's corner and then turns on him and joins back with his brother and all that. And you get them beating down Sammy, and then you get Kevin coming for the save. And then you move on to where you're going for WrestleMania, which is Sammy and Kevin taking on the Usos for the tag belts. Because Roman's got a dance partner for WrestleMania. We already know that. So where do you go instead? Sammy and KO winning the tag titles for the first time in their WWE careers. That's huge for some of us who have been watching them wrestle since like 2007, as a tag team in various places and have watched their entire journey pretty much. That's gigantic. That is like them winning either one of them winning the Universal title, them winning the Undisputed Tag Belt. And they get plenty of places to go from there. They don't have to feud with the Bloodline after that. If the Usos kind of take a break when Roman does or whatever, like there's plenty of tag teams for Sammy and Kevin to be wrestling. There's a whole division worth of fantastic teams, and there's other storylines you can move them into and all of that. So like, I'm excited about it because it doesn't feel like Sammy's going to lose to Roman and then what do we do with Sammy? There's no clear next path. There's a clear next path, and it's an exciting one to me. So that's where I think this is going personally, and that's one of the things that I love. One of the things I love about the storyline is it doesn't feel like it's going to be over and then we don't know what to do with these guys, which is what happens in wrestling a lot. I mean, AJ Styles and the OC are just kind of MIA right now because they have no idea what to do with them after their last little feud.
Did I miss so right now? Do you think because Jey Uso is seemingly out of the bloodline?
Yeah, I think it's a work. I think it's a swerve.
He'll turn on Sammy at.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm
Elimination.
expecting
Okay.
He's going to be there in Sammy's corner.
Because that's my question. Because right now you kind of have the free with the tag titles.
And that's
so
why I don't think he turns. I think Jay's out. I think the end game, the true end game of the Bloodline storyline, it's not Sami Zayn. It's nothing else. It's Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Because Jay never wanted to be in the Bloodline. Jay never wanted to do this. Jay was forced to because he lost.
No, I agree. But
Jay has now been exonerated because Sammy did the thing that Jay couldn't bring himself to do. So you have Solo and Jimmy defend the tag titles. Sammy and Kevin beat them. Jey Uso is taking a break, doing whatever he decides that he wants to do. The end match of the Bloodline, when it's all said and done, is Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso.
But here's my see I think everything got turned, at least for me, on its head when they announced the Cody Roman match as for being for both belts. Because I honest to God, I thought for sure that they were going to go split skis. So
are we sure that they're not still? Are we like?
I mean, I understand things can change, but as of right now, it literally is for both belts.
Correct. As of now, February 3rd.
Yeah. Because if somehow they go split skis,
give me main event Jay versus Roman on night 1.
So there's your answer to the next topic.
No, that wouldn't be my main event. That would not be my main event of night 1. I start the show with that match.
Oh shit. Okay.
I start with Roman defending the Universal title against Jey Uso. And then it's midway point of night 2, I would have the tag title match being Jimmy and Solo versus Owens and Zayn. And then you have Roman close out the night against Cody.
Okay. So the Bloodline just loses everything at Mania.
Which is kind of what it feels like it's going to be. What happens?
The walls have to cave in.
Yeah.
They have yet to have a chink in their armor. Who knew that the little ginger Canadian kid that they wanted in their club to make fun of was the glue that held that together? It wasn't the wise man. It wasn't the tribal chief. It wasn't the enforcer. It wasn't the tag team. It was the ginger that they wanted to pick on was the glue that held that thing together. The cracks in the foundation have started. Now you hit that bitch with a wrecking ball and you make them pick the pieces up. Because eventually it's going to be, you guys lost the tag titles. Yeah, Roman, well, you lost both your world titles. Solo hasn't won a title. You know, this guy hasn't done this. This guy hasn't done. It's going to start to enter turmoil. Jey Uso's the guy the whole time that hasn't wanted to do this. He's had to fall in line.
What I think is going to happen.
And there's the collision spot in the Royal Rumble.
What I think is going to happen, and this would be this would kind of be in the idea that they do eventually get back to splitting the belt, splitting Roman's belt. Is so at Elimination Chamber. At Elimination Chamber, I would do Roman, Sammy. After the match, KO returns to save Sammy. That gets us to Solo and Jimmy versus Sammy and KO at WrestleMania. They lose the titles. Roman faces, I don't know, somebody else. Pick somebody, I don't care. That person, that opponent is irrelevant. Roman retains the Universal title night 1. Loses the WWE title night 2. With the tag titles at WrestleMania, the Solo and Jimmy are going to lose until Jay comes back. Because from now until WrestleMania, we're under the belief that Jay's out. Like he's made his choice, Jay's out. Jay turns on KO and Sammy then.
I can see that.
So that match ends in a no contest.
Here's one thing I'll say about the whole splitting of the belts, and I'm on board with it at this point. I have no problem with the idea of them splitting the belts. I don't think they want Roman to be the guy that splits the belts. And I say that for 2 reasons. Number 1, you only want to do that with Roman if he's keeping one of the belts. And I think we're all pretty on the page of Roman both deserves and needs and should take a break after WrestleMania.
Right, but hold on. So Mania, the tag titles stay in the Bloodline. Roman loses the WWE title to Cody. WrestleMania Backlash, Sammy and KO get their rematch, this time against Jimmy and Jay, because Jay's back in.
Yeah.
That's when they lose the tag titles. So now in a 2-month span, you've lost 2 of your titles. Everything's in turmoil. But like Jay's really kind of been on the inside the whole time.
See,
Roman still has the Universal title. The story of the next few months is Jay finally breaking that. Your end game match is Jay defeating Roman at SummerSlam.
See, to me, I think, and I could see that being a thing. I mean, then it all started at SummerSlam.
Well, that's when Roman returned and attacked Bray.
Yeah,
it was kind of Hell in the Cell.
Hell in the Cell is where the first
out
bloodline stuff really was, when Jimmy returned.
Right.
Really, it goes back to Roman returning spearing
at
Bray
SummerSlam.
and holding the
Yeah.
Universal title up.
So here's my thing. I can see that being the end game for the overall storyline. I don't think that that's the title picture end game. Like I said, first of all, I want to see Kevin and Sammy win at WrestleMania because I want that to be a
That's
WrestleMania moment. Like I 100%, I want to be there. I want to be in the building when they win the tag titles. I want it to feel huge. All that. Maybe that's selfish. I don't care. I'm okay with that.
You're booking with your heart.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
But
that.
just be transparent. Just be transparent about it. You're booking with your heart.
100%. But here's my thing. And like I was saying, I don't think that Roman is the guy that loses both belts in separate instances. I don't think that they've spent all this time putting Roman over to have him lose 2 matches in even a 2-month span where he's losing those belts. And I do think that he's taking a break. I do think that after WrestleMania, even if he's back by SummerSlam, I think we're getting Roman getting to go on a holiday, a well-deserved one, as a matter of fact, for at least a few months.
So do I need to bring up on the Peacock network here every other Brock Lesnar title run where he was there for fucking 2 weeks and then he was gone for fucking 4 months?
No, that's fair. But what I'm saying, though, is I think that Cody is going to win the Undisputed title. I think Cody wins both belts. I think Cody is the guy that ends up losing one of the 2 of them and then keeping the other. Like I think Cody becomes that guy.
I would just rather have Roman just lose the WWE Championship and keep the Universal, so he keeps that title run calculating.
But I don't think he needs it anymore. I think it's okay.
And Brock Lesnar didn't need a world title fucking for the entire 7-year sabbatical that he took. But here we are. That happened. At the end of the day, him not being there, it's the same thing as him being there because Roman Reigns isn't defending the titles on television.
But he also just doesn't need to be a champion anymore. Like, it's okay for him to lose these belts at WrestleMania. But it's
okay for the guy that you're building to take the title off of the unbeatable machine to lose one of the 2 titles.
Yeah, because Cody Rhodes is more human. He's going to lose eventually, sooner than later.
Okay, but at this point, you have Roman drop a title, come back at SummerFest and drop the other title.
Yeah, I don't see it. I just don't see it, personally.
I just, for me, I have a hard time thinking we've gone, all of this time, and especially, a year with him with both titles, to have them both go away in the span of 2 nights. Like, in if the scenario is even splitting, and like in Mike's scenario, loses one on night 1, loses the other on night 2.
Or he just loses one of them on night 2 and then loses the other one in 6 months whenever he comes back. Because at this point, we've proven the fact that you don't have to be there every week to be the world champion.
Yeah. And I continue to stand by that, especially if this is going to be the year of Gunther. You have the WWE Championship on Raw every week with Cody.
And you have a 2-hour show where Gunther is your main champion because guess what? You only got 2 hours to fill.
Exactly. And you still have a women's champion. And
you still have the women's tag titles that you could put on that show every once in a while. You still have other storylines that you can go with. I'm more on, if they're going to split them, like let Cody walk out on Monday night with the new winged eagle and let him be the WWE champion and have the title that his dad never won and everything like that. Because Universal Championship and all of this means absolutely jack squat to that guy.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on Royal Rumble before we talk a little bit here on night 1 main eventing?
I'm good on Bianca Belair being the Raw Women's Champion.
Now that Rhea is fighting Charlotte, I have no idea who's going to fight Bianca.
Here's the thing: she was never going to lose at the Rumble. It was always.
I said that on the preview. I said, "Why are we even having title matches? Because the champions ain't losing."
Yeah,
I don't think there's a shot. I knew she wasn't losing to Alexa. I'm good on Bianca Belair. I've had enough of a title run.
Yeah, I agree.
It's time for her to lose it. Maybe go heel, freshen up the fucking act a little bit. I'm good.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen.
So who does she lose to? I guess that can be a transition as we talk about main events of night 1, because currently the Elimination Chamber, the one match is a number one contenders for
Her belt.
the title.
Yeah.
Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, and two to be determined competitors. Anyone want to take a guess on who TBD is going to be?
Don't they have matches already announced for who's gonna like potentially be in it?
The fifth spot will be determined by a fatal four-way on Raw featuring Candice LeRae, Carmella, Michin, and Piper Niven. The sixth spot is still to be determined.
Okay.
I would imagine that gets either
On
determined on
SmackDown.
SmackDown tomorrow, or there's a match announced
For
on SmackDown tomorrow or something.
Or like
yeah.
next SmackDown. Yeah.
Um,
I feel like Asuka is a safe guess. I feel like there's still a chance that we end up with like a three-way with Bailey and Becky somehow involved. Like there's a lot
Bailey
of
and
options.
Becky have their own matchup.
I was going
I
to
hope
say,
so. I hope so.
I truly feel like they're going to have a match.
I hope so. Like honestly, I'd rather see that personally. But like I don't know. I definitely Asuka would be my kind of pick out of fandom. Raquel makes a lot of sense. Raquel was one of those women who I think we all thought had a really good chance of winning the Rumble. So she always
did.
Well, yeah,
Because she's from Texas.
So she always I think is a decent potential pick. Although I don't know how great of a match her and Bianca could really have. To be honest, I don't think they're stealing the show. But
I don't think Bianca is really stealing the show with anyone.
maybe with Asuka. I could see it.
If you're telling me that we're looking at a world with Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, the Usos versus KO and Sammy, a potential triple threat match between Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus, they're gonna have to go out and have like a fucking
Rollins and Logan Paul.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go out and have like a 9-star match in the Tokyo Dome to steal that show. Like they're just gonna have to. Like, and I don't think that.
I don't think they are. But not every match is built to be a show stealer. Even in not every title match is built to be a show stealer.
But a title match that you're taking the title off of someone like Bianca, who's held the title for as long as she has, you would think that they would want to have the best match possible to take the title off of her, which is why I think Asuka's the play.
Yeah, I mean, best match possible is Asuka. I think it'll probably be Asuka, especially with the new Asuka that we have. So that's going to be my pick.
It's interesting because as much as I get the long-term kind of, I don't know if you call it a long-term story, it's just a callback, but as much as I get where they're going with Rhea, with why she picked Charlotte and kind of the redemption arc that they're going with, I personally really would have loved to see her pick Bianca because it would have been a new match. It would have been fresh and it would have been kind of interesting because they've kind of been side by side building both women up for the last year without having them interact with each other other than a little bit here and there. So it would have been interesting to see these women who have basically been juxtapositioned throughout the entire year of their builds coming to a head. It almost reminds me of an NXT when you had like 6 months of the Revival and American Alpha both being dominant tag teams with no interaction with each other. They were just both being dominant in their own lanes, and then their lanes had no choice but to converge. And that would have been an interesting place to go with this. Plus, like I said, we haven't seen Rhea versus Bianca. That is new. That was fresh. And given how great both women are, that to me on paper could have the potential to steal the show. So I'm a little disappointed. Like, as much as I know we're going to get a great match out of Rhea and Charlotte, that could very easily be night one main event material. Honestly, it would have been nice to see the fresh match as opposed to the, okay, we've seen this one before, but let's run it back. It's been a few years, now we're in front of a crowd.
I think this Rhea is a lot different than Rhea of 2020.
Very much so.
I think the women's matches were one of the matches was going to be stale regardless. Because if you put Asuka versus Charlotte Flair, you've seen that match.
Yes.
You put Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair, you've seen that match. Raquel Rodriguez, I'm pretty sure you've seen that match. Unless you're going with somebody off the wall like Piper Niven, like who never has wrestled her before, like I think you're gonna have a stale women's match regardless because it's been a vicious cycle of the same 6 women for the title for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like it just feels like a vicious cycle of the women's division right now. Like, yeah, I'd love to see Mia Yim be involved more. I'd love to see Candice LeRae be involved more. But for some reason, we have to see Ronda Rousey. We have to see Charlotte Flair. We have to see, Bianca Belair in title matches at WrestleMania. I mean, it is what it is. Like, let's. I get it. Bianca and Sasha had a great match 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Like, Bianca Belair's had the title or been in the title match like the last 2 or 3 WrestleManias. Like, I'm good with her having a feud with someone and being involved in a WrestleMania match, but not having to be in the fucking title match. But unfortunately, the way that they've built the women's division, it's Becky, it's Bianca, it's Bayley, it's Charlotte, it's Ronda.
That's that's a Vince problem.
And I'm kind of
honest, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And I'm kind of hoping that we get past Mania and we do a draft of some sort, move some people around. We can freshen this stuff up a little bit. Unfortunately, the tail end of WrestleMania season is always the time where we're like, man, we've seen this match already.
Yeah. And I mean, SummerSlam, I mean, you're talking September, October, November, December, January. Triple H has been in charge for 5 months. Add 2 more, it's 7.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's basically half a year. So you can't, at that point, it's hard to make new stars to be WrestleMania big matches. So what he's dealing with now is
he's dealing with what he's got.
Yeah. And it's a Vince problem that I think he is working on correctly.
Correct. I agree.
So
like Raquel is a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
but she's not necessarily ready for a big title match at Mania this year.
No.
She might be next year.
Possibly, for sure. SummerSlam-ish, maybe.
Yeah. I could even see if you want to give her a year build and she wins next year's Rumble and becomes like the face going into next year's Mania and all that. Like, Raquel's got that potential, but she wasn't pushed that way for the first 5 months of her main roster career.
She's gonna get booed out of the building.
In Philly?
Yeah.
Well, possibly,
because Philly's full of dicks.
Yeah, but I mean,
who doesn't get booed out of the building?
WrestleMania crowd is different than a Philadelphia Eagles crowd.
Oh, I know. They throw batteries at Santa Claus.
But okay, Kyle. But to Joe's actual topic, because we are coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
My night 1 main event is Rhea and Charlotte.
Okay.
Have her main event. Have both Rumble winners main event, and I think it's the best because I think this match is actually going to be really, really good, and it's going to be Rhea's crowning moment. I know it leaves us then with a lot of questions because Judgment Day is on Raw and she's going to be SmackDown Women's Champion, but
then you have a draft and Judgment Day goes over to SmackDown. Like it would actually freshen things up. Like,
trade them 3 and Austin Theory to SmackDown. And send Imperium and somebody over to Raw.
Yeah. I'm totally down for that.
You send whoever the U.S. champion is and whoever the Intercontinental champion is. They switch shows. You switch, Judgment Day and somebody over, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, I mean, honestly, Judgment Day over on SmackDown would be pretty fun.
And, I mean, you've gotten the max potential out of the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. You have to separate them.
Yeah, you got to move on.
I get it. It's always like you can go back to that when you need a banger, but it's like, we've seen banger after banger from them. Like I need them to do something else.
After banger.
Yeah.
After banger.
It's fight night. My night 1 main event. I'm going to go after Joe's heartstrings here. They pull the fucking trigger and they win the tag titles. Give me fucking Kevin and Sammy versus the fucking Usos. I mean, but it's only if they pull the trigger and they win the titles.
Yeah.
If they do, if you're going to pull Jim's line where turn, no contest. You can't close a show with that.
No.
But if you're going to let Kevin and Sammy have that moment, I'm cool with that closing because I would open night 1 with Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
I can see that.
I would open with that. I would come out of the fucking gates with a match that should be a banger. Have a great match to set off the fucking fireworks for the night. And then I would close with the crowning of the new tag team champions.
What I love about that idea is that we haven't seen the tag titles elevated to a main event level in WWE ever. That was never a Vince thing. Vince
The closest we've been to is the Profits versus Usos Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've not seen that in a Vince McMahon led WWE. Tag teams, it wasn't the most important thing. Tag division wasn't the most important thing. And the thing is, like, we know that Triple H cares more about the tag division. We know that there's potential for teams like the Revival coming back, FTR, coming back into the company and stuff. If we're going to do that, if we're going to build this division seriously, if we're going to make it a big thing, if we're going to keep the Street Profits together, if we're going to do all of that, you have Drew and Sheamus teaming up, and I actually really love them as a team together, and it's awesome, and they're main eventers. And, look, WCW, Crockett, NWA proved you can have tag teams that are a main event scene. The Road Warriors were as over as anybody was in NWA back in the 80s, So it's doable. You just have to pull the trigger and do it. And they've done it with the women. They've given the women the main event. They've given the women the opportunity to shine like that. They've not done it for a tag team. And like we said, like at the end of the day, I don't think this has been about Sami Zayn becoming the world champion. But Sami and Kevin becoming the tag champions, that's huge. It's gigantic, and putting it in the main event makes it that much even bigger. And it wouldn't be the first time a WrestleMania was main evented by a tag match.
Looking at you, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Exactly. It would just be the best time it's been main evented by a tag match.
Also looking at you, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Because let's be honest, right? On paper, I don't know that there's very many tag matches that have the potential to be 7 stars.
Definitely not looking at you, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
The way that the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens has. And honestly, the only reason why I even want to see Jay get back with Jimmy by WrestleMania.
Because you think that he'd have a better match than Solo.
Because I think that the Usos proper versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is the match. That's a 5-star match right there. That has the potential to be an all-time WrestleMania classic. And it may be the first, other than like TLC, it may be the first tag team WrestleMania classic. Truly deserving.
That's an actual tag match. That isn't a fucking car crash.
Exactly.
So I'll leave it with this, and this is my final statement on this.
Oh shit, they could make it a ladder match.
They could. Sami and Kevin, Jimmy and Jay. We'll say that's the hypothetical main event. Night 2, Sami and Kevin come out with the tag titles, have their victory celebration, or even the Monday night after. Would you care if they're jumped by a certain returning team if their contract is officially up at AEW?
I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it.
I'd be excited
because then the Usos can take their sabbatical with Roman, and they have an immediate challenger that is of the serious level. Because here's the thing: if you decide that a month in that you want to take the titles off of Kevin and Sami because the end game was to get them the titles, to get them the WrestleMania moment, and then now you want to go to FTR, and then you have FTR being able to have matches against everybody. Eventually, the rematch coming up at SummerSlam, whenever the Usos have the 7-star match that everybody wants them to have. Yeah, give me Shatter Machine. At some point, like WrestleMania the night after, I don't care. Fucking give me FTR coming back if they're actually going to be expired contracts by then. Anything else? I mean,
my initial answer was the tag title match, just the same, because like that to me, that's where the money is, and I think Rhea and Charlotte also makes sense. I'll just throw one out there, just to throw a third one out there, and we can discuss it as much as you want to or not.
Please don't tell me Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins.
I do think Seth Rollins is pretty deserving of a main event WrestleMania spot for the last few years worth of performances that he's put on. I think that, and look, last year, night 1, and I get it, Steve Austin returning is always going to be like an amazing thing. You main event with that. But last year's night 1 main event, to me, opened the door for the idea that you can go off the beaten path with the night 1 main event.
I'm not opposed to Seth Rollins main eventing.
It doesn't have to be against Logan Paul. You're right.
I'm not opposed to Seth Rollins main eventing night one of WrestleMania with no title involved.
Yeah.
The problem is the match this year is going to be
Logan
Seth
Paul.
Rollins versus Logan Paul. That can't main event
Okay.
to me.
I can see that.
Like, because I mean, and if they end up doing something different with Seth, I'm potentially in for it, depending what exactly it is. But based on what I saw 5 days ago, I think the Rumble match is Logan Paul versus Seth. The
Now,
match is going to be so good, by the way, but it's not a main event.
Why isn't it a main event? Because it's not like Logan Paul isn't WWE main eventer.
It's because of
He's
what
a
else
WWE main eventer in Saudi Arabia.
No, it's not even that. I mean, you could say that he's a main eventer if you want. If you want to really sell me that bill of goods, good luck. Because of what you have as alternatives.
Because of WrestleMania.
I mean, I'm just saying, but the alternatives of what should close that show, I think, are at a higher level than Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins.
You could have Seth Rollins, Logan Paul main event Backlash, or
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, in day one, not WrestleMania. WrestleMania, it's got to be
Logan Paul, Seth Rollins can main event any show not named Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or SummerSlam to me.
You know, the funny thing though is now the more that I think about it, it wouldn't actually even be the craziest thing from a WWE perspective, because it wouldn't be the first time that they threw a celebrity match into the main event slot either.
No. But what, was LT Bigelow the only one? I mean, so sure, it'll be your best celebrity main event at WrestleMania, but you're not.
I would actually start night 2 with that match.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think it would
put it in a premier spot
for sure,
but it's not a main event.
Yeah, not of WrestleMania.
I mean, you could sell me on Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre as more believable to be a main event
100%
than Logan Paul.
What about Brock Lashley?
No, that's gonna be the middle of a card.
Yeah, that's more of a under middle card sort of a deal.
Like it's a premium spot. Like it'll be like the first match of like the second hour on either night. Like it'll have a
the only way that would be a main event spot would be if somehow
one of them gets the title.
Lashley has the US title.
Which is possible.
It's possible, but I don't think we're going to get there.
Supposedly Austin Theory, John Cena.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going. That could main event.
I mean, John Cena is always a possibility for a
Let's
main
be
event.
fair, that could main event.
Especially if he wins the US title that night.
Yeah. If that's a US title match,
I could see it.
That could very, very well be
easily.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to Wrestlers of the Week. Ernest left, but before he left, he
need to do the month first.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. We'll do the month first. Let me backtrack. All right, so we did our voting. Like I said, surprisingly got everybody's picks in before Tuesday.
I tried.
But I want to. I'll go over the top 15, and then we'll talk about it a little bit because there are some questions that I have. In first place, a unanimous decision from all four of us is Jay Briscoe. Kazuchika Okada in second, Darby Allin in third, Kenny Omega in fourth, the Young Bucks in fifth, Mickie James in sixth, Mark Briscoe in seventh, Orange Cassidy in eighth. There's a tie for ninth between Josh Alexander and the Acclaimed. And 11th was Charlotte Flair. 12th was Austin Theory. 13 was the Usos. 14 was Hiromu Takahashi. And then 15th was Jay Lethal. So my questions here, these are just throwing darts at the wall to see if they stick. Okay. I know Ernest isn't here to defend himself, but I want to talk about this. This man ranked Jay Lethal as the number 11 wrestler of the month. Okay. He didn't have Mark Briscoe in his top 15 at all. The guy who he had arguably the clubhouse leader for match of the year doesn't even have Mark Briscoe on his list. God bless America. Again, all four of us had Jay Briscoe at number 1. Myself and Jim had Mark Briscoe at 2. Joe and Ernest both had Darby Allin. Joe had Mark Briscoe down in the 15th spot.
I got him on there.
But you put Shinsuke Nakamura ahead of him.
I mean, I think Nakamura beating Muda. I mean, like, look, it's sad.
I just wanted to see how you were going to try to sell me that Shinsuke Nakamura winning a non-WWE televised match against the Great Muta.
I feel like it's a bigger deal. I mean, like, and look, it's like, I wish that it's sad because the only reason that the Mark Briscoe match is such a big deal is because of the sad reason that it is, and I wish that it didn't have. Like, I wish it was like. Oh.
You guys muted yourself. Oh. You back?
I'll be right back.
I knew it was going to fucking pop too.
You all right? Everything all right?
Oh, there we are. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me
now? Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
hear
you're
me?
good. It's just popping. It's fucking weird. My computer's tired. We're good. So yeah, no, whenever I like Joe obviously walked away. As you guys can see at home if you're watching on our YouTube page. But yeah, I get it. Shinsuke, it's like the Great Muta, but tragedy or not, the Mark Briscoe match was just a better match to me. Like, I just think the match was better. That's why I didn't put Shinsuke in my top 15. I was the only one that put the tag team of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso in the top 15. And I put them in there, and I'm going to defend it real quick, and then we can move on to Wrestlers of the Week. I put them in my top 15 because of everything that that transpired that night, from Jay saving Sammy from the spike to him stepping up to him winning the titles, and then him just, here you go, Jimmy, these are yours. You know, the whole kit and caboodle really sold me on them being a top 15 of the month. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's
I'm fine with it.
Trying to see if there's any more. Jim, you were the only one that put Zack Sabre Jr. in the top 15.
I mean, when you have a company with the prestige of New Japan, and as hideous as the title belt is, but you introduce a new title into that company, and you're the first champion of it, I think that's top 15 worthy.
I don't blame you. He was the first one out on my list. Joe's standing right here, so I'm going to say this one so that he can attempt to defend it if he wants. Only person to not have Charlotte Flair in the top 15.
I just forgot.
There we go. That's fair.
All right. Let's move on to Wrestlers of the Week since he decided to tell us that he forgot. Ernest did leave me picks before signing off. So the first two picks are already off the board. He took Rhea Ripple's winner of the women's Royal Rumble match. He also took the guy who lasted the longest in the men's match. He took Gunther. Jim, give us your first selection.
I mean, it's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, adrenaline.
I'm fully on the narcotic, man. I'm locked in.
You're just not on the pitch black narcotic.
Oh no, that I can't. That'll send me down to a dark place.
The pitch black match is on right now. That's the reason why I bring it up. Joe selection.
Bianca.
He took She Don't Even Go Here. He took Bianca Belair. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take the new TNT champion. Give me Joey Samoa.
Ooh, good one.
Nice.
Jim.
Give me the guy that finally stood up to the tribal chief. Give me Sami Zayn.
All right, Jim takes Samuel Zayn. Joe, your final selection.
He keeps winning matches. Bryan Danielson.
Joe takes the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Shit, who the fuck do I want to take here? I forget who I want to take here. Give me. I'm not gonna do what fucking not going to take Jade Cargill. That's for fucking sure. We're not doing that. Give me Chase U. Give me Andre Chase and Duke Hudson.
All right.
For winning the Duke and Andre. Figured we'd give some tag teams some love on the show. All right, so our 8 wrestlers of the week, Chase U and Samoa Joe, Rhea Ripley and Gunther, Bianca Belair, Bryan Danielson, The American Nightmare, and Samuel Zayn. All right, so that wraps up wrestlers of the week. Joe's not going to plug anything. Jim, if you want to plug some stuff. As the pitch matches.
Yeah, no. 3CT at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We kind of put the final bow on Royal Rumble weekend, looked ahead a bit to towards Wrestlemania. We got a fun Tuesday show coming up next week. Won't have as many uh-ohs on that one if you listen to this week's. Check us out there. Huddle Up Podcast. We had the simulcast of the Student of the Game show this week. We will be back live Tuesday night for our Super Bowl preview show, or our Superb Owl preview show.
Super Owl.
Yeah, Superb Owl. And then we will have one more week of live show before we move into our off-season program there. More details on that we'll post out on our social media at Huddle Up Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok there as well. For both of those shows, and for me at Big Jim Sports, hit the link tree. You'll get everything everywhere you need to be on those. And Discussions with a Nobody. We dropped a new one of those this week. And I'm actually going to be recording with an old friend of mine an episode this upcoming weekend. So look for another DWAN pod. You can get me there. Discussion with a Nobody Facebook, at DWAN pod on Twitter. All right, boys, that's it.
If you want to follow Ernest, you can on Twitter at EJChristian7. His link tree is there with all of his links to his social medias and all of his YouTube pages. You can follow that if you want. I don't really care. You can follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. Always the number, never the word. You can follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Burn, BERN, the last 4 letters. You can listen to me talk about all things hockey on the Huddle Up Incorporated feed, the Five for Fighting podcast, which will probably be up sometime tomorrow if I can get it recorded. If not, we'll figure it out this weekend because it's the All-Star game and it's kind of a lull week because there are no games tonight and there's nothing really going on. So
yeah, no, we're in the
dead area. Ugh, it's the worst time to be a sports fan. You can also listen to me talk about South Florida baseball on sunny days and double plays. You can listen to me and Joe do WWE ECW watch along over at From Adam Lee to Zombie, a WWE ECW watch along podcast. You can find those on all your major podcast catchers. Got anything else? No, that's it. Guys, I appreciate it as always hanging out with us. It's a lot of fun. 2 hours and 17 minutes because we had to add a 4th topic because of Vengeance Day. I blame you, fucking Shawn Michaels, for that. So until next week, much love to all of y'all. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Stay safe, and we will see you guys next week for more Take 3 Wrestling.